Hi, Warriors! I'm trying out this new laptop that the school gave us, so I am happy to share with you another First Read Friday. I'm finally back in my classroom after being sick, so I'm super excited to be back and to share some books with you guys. So the first book that I'm going to share is called All Boys Aren't Blue. First of all, can we look at how beautiful that cover is? It says on the back, "Be bold and brave and queer." And I just like this because this is such a culturally relevant book right now. It says this is the story of George Matthew Johnson. This is a story for us all. And maybe this isn't a story that's going to be necessarily a story that you might like, but there's always somebody that likes one of the books that I talk about. So maybe this book isn't for you, but maybe I'll have something else. It says, in his groundbreaking young adult memoir, prominent writer and LGBTQIA plus activist George M. Johnson shares both glorious and gut-wrenching memories of growing up Black and queer in America. From getting bullied at age 5, to visiting flea markets with his loving grandmother, to the thrilling frontiers of first relationships, his early life is a profound tapestry of everyday experiences. As a rising star in cultural criticism, he turns his passion for exploring intersectional identities to his own life by weaving questions of gender, masculinity, brotherhood, family, and Black joy throughout his stories. Posing the same questions to the reader, he invites us to consider what social influences have governed our own lives. So I don't know why, but I just think that this would be super interesting. He's got like a little author's note at the beginning talking about, just kind of like a, hey, here's like a little note to you. But this is like a memoir. This is kind of, he breaks it up into acts, so like different parts of his life. And he just goes through and kind of talks about what it was like growing up through that experience. So if that's something that you like, it does have pictures. Definitely check out All Boys Are Not Blue. Another one I have is It's Trevor Noah, Born a Crime. If you remember, we did hear Trevor Noah speak in an interview with Jason Reynolds in the beginning when we did Long Way Down. And so I love Trevor Noah. I think, first of all, he is hilarious. He's a comedian. He does lots of stand-up. You can find him on Netflix. But this is the young adult version of his, I wouldn't say it's a memoir, but it's kind of stories about him from when he lived in South Africa. So he considers himself born a crime because his dad was white and his mom was Black. And back then, to be biracial was a crime in his country. It says he's the host right now of The Daily Show on Comedy Central. And he shares his remarkable story of growing up in South Africa with a Black African mother and a white European father at a time when it was against the law for a mixed-race child to exist. But he did, and from the beginning, the often misbehaved Trevor used his keen smarts and humor to navigate a harsh life under a racist government. In a country where racism barred Blacks from social, educational, and economic opportunity, Trevor surmounted staggering obstacles and created a promising future for himself thanks to his mom's unwavering love and indomitable will. So it is a memoir. If you are somebody that likes reading nonfiction, this would probably be good for you. He wrote on the inside, "My cousin Mullingsley to this day cannot comprehend how I survived being as naughty as I was for as long as I did. Why did I keep misbehaving? How did I never learn my lesson? But I was blessed with another trait I inherited from my mother, her ability to forget the pain in life. If you think too much about the whooping that life gave you, you'll stop pushing the boundaries. It's better to take it, spend some time crying, and then wake up the next day and move on. You'll have a few bruises, and they'll remind you of what happened, and that's okay. But after a while, the bruises fade, and they fade for a reason, because now it's time to break the rules all over again." So again, I told you he is hilarious, and I totally think that you will love this because it is on my list of to reads. And once I'm done with the book I'm reading right now, this is probably what I'm going to read next. But I've had kids really like this book that have read it. Next, I have The Seven Most Important Thing. And I like this book because it's short, and I heard a lot of really great things about this book from kids who read it last year. It says, Arthur T. Owens grabbed a brick and hurled it at a trash picker. Arthur had his reasons, and the brick hit the junk man in the arm, not the head. But none of that matters to the judge. He wants to send Arthur to juvie forever. Amazingly, it's the junk man himself who offers an alternative. 120 hours of community service working for him. Arthur's given a rickety shopping cart and a list of the 7 most important things: glass bottles, foil, cardboard, pieces of wood, light bulbs, coffee cans, and mirrors. Weird, but this trash will change Arthur's life. And so it's kind of interesting to see him go through this experience. It says 1 kid, 1 crime, 1 chance to make things right. So I really want to read this. Let's see if we can read the first page. Let's see how good it is. I always like to talk about a good one. On a bitter November day in Washington, D.C., when everything felt metallic, when the sky was gray and the wind stung and the dry leaves were making death rattle sounds in the alleys, 13-year-old Arthur Owens picked up a brick from the corner of a crumbling building and threw it at an old man's head. So it gets right to the point. It wasn't an accident. The brick didn't topple off the decrepit building. It didn't fall from the heavens. Arthur Owens grabbed the brick with his own hands. He held it for a minute, noticing the cold weight of it, and then he raised his arm and flung it at the old trash picker, known as the junk man, who was pushing a rusty grocery cart down the street. Lucky for Arthur Owens, it was a windy day, and his ability to see things at a distance had never been good. Also, the front wheel of the grocery cart wobbled off the sidewalk at precisely the right moment. As the old man leaned to straighten the cart, Arthur's brick slammed into his shoulder, sending him crumbling to the ground and the grocery cart skidding into the street. If it hadn't been for the wind and the wobbly cart and Arthur's bad aim, it could have been a lot worse, everybody said. In the hospital later, the junk man told a newspaper reporter he believed it was an act of God. "You being saved?" the reporter asked, already jotting down the answer he expected to hear. "No," was the junk man's odd reply. "Me being hit." And that's already chapter 1. So kind of short, but I've heard really good things about that. And then a little bit more nonfiction. We're kind of on a nonfiction kick this week. The Roots of Rap. And if you're somebody who loves like rap music, I definitely think this would be good for you. It talks about the different voices of hip hop and rap and how it kind of came into existence, which who doesn't love a book with pictures? And so like there's like a Dear Reader letter, which I think is kind of cool. I love the graffiti in the back, and he tells you, "I first encountered hip hop when I was growing up in the Bronx. This particular style of music gave me energy and freedom, and it helped me focus on what I wanted to do with my life. I started DJing as a teenager, and thanks to support from my family and friends, my career in music took off soon thereafter. Hip-hop and rap aren't often featured in children's books, so this offering from us is truly special. It provides a wonderful intro to both the sounds and the artists who paved the way in this genre, many of whom were and continue to be role models to me. My hope is that you will be encouraged to learn more about rap and its roots, along with all the artists who have shaped and continue to make this genre what it is today." So it talks a little bit about what rap is, and then it goes into some famous people like Soul Man James Brown. So definitely, if you are somebody who really likes rap music or hip-hop, or you just like music in general, it does have Biggie and I think Tupac on it too, so a little bit more relevant as well. And Jason Reynolds, our author from Long Way Down, actually recommended it too. So that's a couple books for you guys for this week. Hopefully you have a great week and keep on reading.